and 5 members are present. Actually, 4 members are present, so we do have a quorum, and we have our advisor here. The others I've heard from. They will be coming on Monday for the event, and in fact, Sarah is flying up from North Carolina, and she's going to be walking with the veterans on Monday. What about you, Steve? Have you decided if you're gonna?
It depends on if my friend comes with me or not.
Okay, yeah.
If she comes, I'm just gonna come up here.
Okay, yeah.
It's gonna be a last minute thing.
Okay.
Is she that good looking that you don't want her to
I don't want her around all the.
You don't,
Ah!
you don't want her to
Rubble.
walk,
There'll be
you don't want her to walk the
Ramble,
route?
yeah. So, literally, this is a diagram. I'm not gonna bore you with all the details. This is a diagram of the parking lot. We have 30 contingents. We're getting people every day calling and asking if they can join up. We are now up to 11 military vehicles, which is almost a little bit of overkill. Anymore, they'll think we've been invaded.
We could take over Barry with that.
Yeah, that's the thought, yeah. So,
Why bother though?
but I have.
True, too. Let's take over.
Let's go for Rutland, Holden.
Rutland, Holden. So I've got 6 volunteers that'll be up at the rec field. We have 4 volunteers that are gonna be down on the common organizing. I've rented 175 chairs from Taylor Rental, because I want everybody that needs to sit to be able to sit. There are 3 veterans floats. There'll be 1 designated for Vietnam veterans, and the other 2 will be veterans in general. And we have 2 groups of veterans that'll be walking. The first group will be Vietnam veterans, and the others will be all veterans, because of course we're absolutely all-inclusive, thank you very much. And so we have a bus going into Worcester to pick up veterans from the Outreach Center on 69 Grove Street. We have 20 to 25 veterans coming up. Bus compliments of McCarthy Transportation. That was very kind of them. They're also sending a bus over to Quabbin to bring our drill team, our Navy drill team, junior ROTC. So things are coming together well, but in final preparation for that day, you folks have an option of, for the veterans, marching or not. If you don't feel like you can walk, then there's the float you can be on. But we have a designated area up on the common. It's gonna be adjacent to where the veterans are gonna be sitting when you arrive. We're gonna tell you exactly where to go. I'm gonna put out between 75 and 100 seats for veterans and their families. And then right next to that will be the area for the Veterans Committee. I would anticipate there'll be 5 of you sitting in those chairs. And, hi Tom. And and then Tom and I are gonna be up at the podium.
Did your
Tom.
Navy watch get slow? Just saying.
No, but the dinner was a little bit late.
Oh, okay.
He didn't
I was
have-
wondering if you had lost your,
He didn't have his rudder in the water.
if you had lost your military time.
He wasn't steering too good.
Oh, 1850. I'm sorry for interrupting.
That's okay. This is kind of a light meeting, and I anticipate it will not be too detailed, with all good news, and we'll have you out of here soon, because I know a few of you would like to go to the Lions Club. So there will be a spot on the common. Ryan will be acknowledging the committee at a certain time. We have a total of 3 speakers, and that would be Ryan, Donnie Berthium, who's our representative, and me. Tom is going to give a little speech at the beginning, all of which is in line with remember what Memorial Day is, but this one is extra special because of what we're doing. I hope you had the opportunity to go by the common and see that the monument is draped. Just so you will be familiar with what's going to happen at a designated time, Tom, as the Master of Ceremonies, will ask all veterans to stand up. And then once they do that, he's going to say, now I'd like all Hubbardston Vietnam era veterans to gather around the monument. and I'm hoping there'll be 30 or 40, we have no idea how many are gonna come, but no matter how many we have, we'll get them in the right spot, and you'll be gathering around the front, the side of the monument, at which point we'll be taking off all the clips. We have it set up so it can be ready to be removed on a very short notice, and then we'll, at that point say, okay, guys and gals, lift, and you'll lift up the veil or the shroud or the cover, and then lift it off, and we're gonna have somebody to get it out of the way. But beforehand, during the unveiling, and after the unveiling, I'd like you all to stay in place so we can get some good pictures. You know, we're gonna have Cable doing photos and video. We've hired a photographer, and he's very familiar with doing all kinds of events where he knows the special places to be. We have a golf cart available, and so if he'll be going up to the rec field and kind of looking how that's being formed up and so on and so forth. But the two golf carts are complimentary of Salvador Auto Group, and they're also bringing a tank. It is an American tank. It happens to be a British tank. It happens to be an Abbott from the 1960s. They're all camouflaged, but it'll probably be the first tank in a Hubbardston parade. And then they have a Jeep that has a 105 on the back and a 50 cal, so they'll have people dressed up. And the whole idea is to make it into an event, because all the military vehicles will be going into the parking lot in front of the police station, and they'll be there available for people to come down and talk after the event and get an opportunity to learn a little bit more about them. And of course, we know the Lions are feeding everybody, and the senior center is going to be having ice cream. So a lot of work, time, and effort has gone into it, and I'm not going to say anything more, but the weather looks like it's pretty good. I can tell you that I've
It's a
outreached,
plus.
I've outreached to channels 4, 5, 7, and Chronicle. They all say it's a great idea, a great concept, but it all depends on what's going on in the world that day. And I understand that. I'm pushing hard because I'm pushing the fact that there are 351 communities in Massachusetts, and less than half of them have a Vietnam memorial. So if this is a motivation for other towns and communities to do it, what better news story could you ask for? And it isn't, it's a pretty,
We could help them at a small charge.
yeah, exactly, yeah. And the monument, as you well know, because you've seen it out there and we've talked about it so many times, is a little bigger than what I thought it would be. Because when I plugged it with the selectmen, I said it would be on the same size as the Span Am World War I and the World War II, but of course we have the foundation, which is 12 inches high.
Yeah.
And then, because we had such an enormous outturn of eligible veterans, you know, and we wanted those names to be conspicuous, and we're using both sides, the monument is in fact
4 inches higher.
a little higher than. But if you haven't had an opportunity to see the Civil War monument, it looks phenomenal. Cannons, the cannonballs, the foundations, everything.
You could just tell everybody it's black and it's gonna be out there in the sun, it's gonna shrink.
Yeah.
That's
We
right.
would hope.
I've heard 4
It'll
inches
probably
isn't
shrink.
very much, so.
Yeah. So it'll be a great day for all of us. We've kind of got it well choreographed. We had several meetings. Tom is gonna be the master of ceremonies, and we have everything lined up. A little glitch with the band, which I straightened out today, so no problem at all. I got a email today from the public relations person for the Massachusetts State Police. She said, we'd gotten in touch with them one time before. She said, I'm awfully sorry for the delay. You know, what day are you actually having the ceremonies? Well, I made it very clear it was Memorial Day. So she was going to give her all the details again. They were gonna see if they could get a state police honor guard, which would be, outfit them in. believe me, I'll fit him in if we get a state police, we'll find a place for him. So, I was back and forth with, Kristen today, and obviously I'll let you know. So, the update on the finance, you have in front of you the latest financial sheet as of the 23rd of May, and that has everything spelled out. A few things are put together, but the most important thing to know about that, guys and gals, is we have reimbursed our advisor
Good.
for every cent, because you don't know, but I know how relentless we were with Hiabo in terms of getting a refund.
Yeah.
And they had insurance and so on and so forth, and they were dealing with agents and back and forth. But Mr. Blanchard and I were pretty darn persistent, so we ended up getting back $4,542, and that puts us in the green. You know, so I'm really happy, because we kind of flushed that down the toilet. I didn't think we'd get it, but we got it back, and therefore we were able to work out a process whereby everybody is whole, and that was the intent, because our intent from the beginning was to do it right. And we all know that certain things don't get paid for until they're delivered, and we would not have had our monument if we didn't pay for it up front. We would not have had our band if we didn't make arrangements to pay them up front. So we now have, I've sent you enough emails that you probably hate me at this point, but I wanted to give you as much communication as conceivably possible. So the collage looks great, the banner looks great. Since that time, people must have driven by and they said, oh, I'm a Vietnam era veteran. In fact, Schindler lived on Morgan Road, right down the road from you, right? It's
They used to, yeah.
yeah, used to be,
Right,
exactly, yeah.
right.
There were two Schindler brothers, both
Yeah,
were in the
Fred
Marines.
and Larry.
Yeah, exactly, and they got in touch and they said, oh, you still can take pictures? And I said, well, the banner's already done. I mean, I had to do that in a certain amount of time. They had 6 months that we had that word out. So they sent me photos. I did them up 8 by 10, and I bought another frame, and I'm gonna put that underneath the banner. So I've had 4 total, including Butch Alcola, his son Jimmy, who's a police officer in town. He sent me a picture of his dad, and I'd asked him like 4 or 5 times over the last 4 or 5 months, but we certainly don't wanna leave it out. So I'm not gonna do the frame until like the day before, in case they have any extras, and that'll be a collage underneath. So we're gonna bail our jailbird out of jail on Friday. That's another way of telling you that the eagle that we took off the monument ended up in the cell in the police station here, so we had to come up with bail. I'm being facetious. And on Friday, the police will bring that across, and it's gonna be right in front of the refurbished memorial, so people can see what it looked like before and know what a great job we did. And then I have another frame that I'm gonna put out that morning. It's gonna have before and afters. It's gonna show what the common looked like back in 1905. It's gonna show what it looked like in March of 2021, where everything was the way it was, and how it looks today, which is a lot different. So looking over the expenses and knowing that we still have, funny how it came out with exactly $4,000 remaining.
That's amazing.
That wasn't any,
I didn't plug any numbers.
so I would like to make it official, and I'd like a motion to accept these expenses so that they can be delivered to the accountant and the treasurer and get paid. So somebody make a motion
Make a motion.
and second it?
Second it.
Okay, all those in
Maybe
favor?
we should list what those, what those are.
Again, yeah, that'd be a breakdown. that
Because
you give us, yeah.
we still need to get an invoice from Astro Crane for $2,000, and that's not on here.
And they did about $4,000 worth of work for us.
And I have
Or more.
$1,629 of reimbursable expenses, which I have all the backup for. A lot of those are on here. They're the cannonballs and air freight, adding, landscaping all the monuments and that. So that'll be one of them. And then we have Leominster Monuments, invoice, which I, walked over, individual items by all of what they quoted us, and that's
All of which is in here.
$7,096. So those will be submitted after tonight's meeting, for the next warrant.
And we couldn't have found better vendors. I'm telling you
Yeah.
that Leominster Monuments, they were on time every time, and we were pretty picky in terms of what we were looking for appearance and long-term and so on and so forth. Never said no.
Mhm.
Always said yes. We couldn't have asked for more cooperation from the highway department. Everything we asked for, including pruning the trees, they were there yesterday, giving all the trees a haircut, so our floats will get in, no problem whatsoever. I asked that they flatten out areas behind the monument where there are little ruts and grooves, and I don't want people tripping. They're taking care of that, so, and Ed was a little concerned because not everything has grass, but, you know, in certain ways it's battlefield.
Yeah.
So, the only reason it doesn't have grass is 'cause we dug it up and so on and so forth, and it will be planted, and it will eventually grow. And, so, I can't think of, Ryan, once he's back and in the groove, has been extremely, helpful in, the meetings to get the finances straightened out. And today he said to me after the meeting, "You guys need anything else?" He said, "I have, extra money of up to $1,000, just make sure you get receipts, et cetera, et cetera." But we're in good shape. And then, we'll probably have a shakedown after battle, get-together. Ed has offered to potentially have a get-together at your home on Comet Pond.
Yeah,
At some
we
point.
can't put that together.
Yeah, and literally, then we should talk about, what about the remaining money we have? Some of that we have to put aside because we may have more names that we'll be putting on the monument. So there's a certain amount of setup time and cost involved there.
Is that before the committee trip to Bermuda?
Yeah.
Do I get to go as like?
Yeah,
that's so cute.
absolutely, yeah. You can be in a little dinghy behind the
Very
yacht. yeah.
perfect.
So, once again, looking over the finances, it looks like we're, in really good shape. You all got a copy of the dedication for the annual report? That was a nice little kudo.
Yep,
They
very
got
nice.
back and, they got in touch with me a couple months back and asked me to put something together, which I did. And, so, that's, their way of, saying thanks to us, which was, appreciated. So, in terms of finances, any questions on that?
Two more items,
Sure.
Because we got the refund, on the, damage to the monument and the storage, and that came back to me to reimburse me for the duty and that had been paid. There was a balance of, $97 that got wired to my account that really wasn't mine, it was really the committee's, so I'll give you this bill, this is, $114 of expenses that I won't be putting through.
Okay, I understand, yeah.
Because of
okay.
$97.
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
And the other thing is, if there's $50 for the stencil for the plaque, when we got samples from Hayabo Stone, one of the samples was a 12 by 12 sample of what the base would be. So what I'm gonna do there is I'm gonna take that 12 by 12 square, and we're gonna make a thing for the Historical Society, and I think it says something like, in recognition of the Vietnam Memorial Monument and all of the restoration for the Civil War Monument. And then it lists all of the committee members and you as chairman and you as treasurer and that. And then I got a hole drilled in it, and I'm gonna put a cannonball, one of the extra cannonballs, on that.
We do have a couple extra cannonballs.
And, so, that'll be presented, I think Bill's gonna present that to Gary Kangas at
Ah,
that's
nice.
That's good.
And
Will
we-
will the eagle eventually go to the museum?
We offered it to them.
Okay.
We offered it initially, and they said they didn't have room for it, and they thought it might be a little dangerous that someone could bump into it, cause they now have more, kids going over to the library and so on and so
Mhm.
forth. So, as of now, it will probably end up in my barn on my farm cause I have a room designated for the history room, and then I have one for the Wheeler Brothers.
Mhm.
So, I'll probably take over custodianship of that for the time being, so. Just got another check, so we have $4,200 now, and a very nice letter enclosed. Please find my check towards the new memorial and for future restoration maintenance on the town common. So this John Catisto.
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 Catisto, yeah, who's now in Leland, North Carolina. Thanks to Bill Shea and all the others who have worked towards this memorial and the restoration. Unfortunately, I cannot attend the Memorial Day parade, but look forward to seeing what is shown on the Facebook page and will be on the videos that will be taken that day.
His name's on the monument, too.
His name's on the monument, yeah. I'll tell you, we've had some emotional times where we were putting the monument up on that day, and there was probably a couple hours before we shrouded it, before we covered it. And we had people stopping by, and we asked them very politely not to take pictures. And one individual, all of a sudden I'm having a brain fart, I can't remember, came up and he was taking pictures, and I asked him the same thing, and he said, well, my name is on the monument. Macintosh is his name.
Oh,
And-
Helen?
Yeah, that's who it was,
Oh.
yep. And he
He's
told me that, and I
He's
said,
from Idaho, isn't he?
no, this was Macintosh, and maybe I got the names mixed up.
No, he used to live here,
Okay, and
but
then
I
he
think
moved,
he lives in Idaho
Okay.
now, so he must have come back
yeah,
for the parade.
and so I walked him around, and he saw his name for the first time.
Yeah, it's gonna be Alan.
Yeah, he was emotional, so. And we have plenty of volunteers, like I said, at either end, but Joe Gadnowitz, like I said, he was not available for tonight for the dry run that we made up at the rec field, but I hope that he gets better. We have plenty of handouts for our volunteers, and I think that it's going to be a good turnout. So all of our hard work is gonna come back and pay dividends with the people that will acknowledge and be thankful and appreciative of the work that we've done. So
Mr. Chairman, I think you have a motion on the floor that was seconded that hasn't been voted for.
what's that?
We didn't vote for all of the
Yeah, we did.
finances.
Yeah, we
We
did.
voted for
Yeah,
that?
mhm,
Yeah.
yep.
Oh, okay.
All in
Sorry, I
favor.
missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
we were, and then you added.
Yeah, and then you
more to
amplified it, which was
Okay.
great, yeah. Okay, told you it'd be quick, and I know you got a couple of meetings to go to, if you can make them. Any other items you wanna talk about, discuss, need to be covered?
I have a couple things, but they're, I can solve them, it's a
Okay,
issue about,
okay,
gosh, I got a really wonderful little thing here where this whole thing is set out so that I don't stumble, cause I'm having that problem some now. And, but I was going through it tonight, and when they're singing and we're putting poppies out,
mhm,
I got back here on page 5 and I said, where is we're missing one.
missing one what, service?
Yeah,
What, which one?
well, the one,
Okay.
KISS, the one I'd like to see out, the Air Force.
Uh-huh.
The Air Force is not in there.
Oh, it
so-
isn't?
No, so
So
I slipped the thing back to him, she's gonna
To Sue,
change it,
yeah.
to Sue, she's gonna change it.
Sue and Claudia, Tom and I worked on a subcommittee to go through all the procedures step by step. And Sue is a former executive secretary, so she's dynamite as far as laying it out. She said something that I'll never forget, and that is, she was always told to make her boss look good. So
Right.
in this case, she's gonna make Tom look good. So we were able to put that, she had that already for you already, huh?
Oh, yeah, in fact, I was only home about an hour and
Wow.
I got a call, so I went up and I had some other things I had to do at the house, and so Andrea come in, she said, "What's this?" And I said, "Okay, well, sit down and I'll read it through." So I read through the whole thing, about, who's gonna sing and when and all that, and I got back to her and I was just going through it. She said, "What about the Air Force?"
Oh, boy. We could attend about 25 of our Vietnam era vets who were in the Air Force, so.
Yeah.
Good catch.
Okay. Anything else we need to talk about?
What about the parking? We're gonna be able to park out back here?
You're gonna get, if you're here, you're gonna be marching with, potentially, okay. If you're not marching, I recommend that you get here before 10 o'clock,
Yeah.
okay?
Yep.
If you're not here before 10 o'clock, I think that all the spots in the school will be missing.
Yep.
Next alternative, think about everything on the right-hand side going up, starting with post office. You have that parking lot. The credit union, they have parking there. Leading Edge, that's right beyond the center, they have a big parking area there. I've been in touch with every one of them and said, it's Memorial Day, you're not gonna be open. Is it okay to park in your parking lot? I left messages, I talked to one or two of them, and I said, if you have an issue, let me know, otherwise we're gonna park there.
Yep.
So anywhere along the right-hand side, 68 north going out of town, right up to and including Go Green parking lot, the pallet.
Mhm.
That's wide open. I've got 2 volunteers up there. My daughter Kellyanne and Ron Hopper will be up there parking people. Beyond that, you have another huge parking area before you get to the new storage facility going up. My daughter Kellyanne owns that, so that's wide open. So between all of those, people coming up until 10:30, two-way traffic. After 10:30, the road closes. But if someone gets stopped by the police and they say, where are you going? I'm in the parade, he'll tell them where to park. If they're just coming for the parade, I should say, he'll tell them where to park. If they're coming and they're in the parade, they should already be there by 10:30.
Yeah.
But at that point, he'd send them down to
What am
the
I supposed to
rec
do?
field and then
Are
turn
you
around.
marching?
Right.
I can't march, I'm not military, I'm just part of the committee. What should I do?
Are you part of the Golden Ages?
Yeah. I
Okay,
do.
you can be on that float. Why don't you
Oh,
do that?
Okay,
And
all
then,
right.
in the end, you're gonna come up and you're gonna sit with the Vietnam Veterans Committee,
Okay,
which
all
is right next to where, all the
Does
veterans
the
will be
CPC
sitting.
have a float?
Pardon?
Does the CPC have a
No,
float? No.
No. Mm-mm.
Does
No, there
CERT
are
have a float?
Who?
No, CERT, no, they don't have a float?
3
No?
military floats,
Okay,
Golden
just the Golden
Ages and
Ages.
Lions,
Okay,
total of 5 floats.
all right, I just missed the
Maybe a
Lions
lion
one.
one.
You can always get on the Lions.
Can I ride on the Lions?
With my kids, they're gonna get
If
on
I
that
get my
for sure.
papers.
Kids coming up?
Some of them, they wanna see it,
Yeah, great.
so.
And,
Disappointed they couldn't throw candy, but other than that,
Yeah.
cause my daughter will be knocking kids out.
And that's literally why I mentioned this and I opened it up, because I've got people telling me they're coming from Florida, from Virginia, so there are a lot of people coming from all over because they wanna see our memorial and they wanna see how we did, so and as long as the weather is good, which it appears will be, the gods are shining on us, so.
We're in a lot of detail today, in this whole thing about where people are gonna be, how they're gonna know where to go when they got in. I think Bill's got a really good program for that.
Yeah.
The one I liked the most was the fact that, they've asked the fire department, who's gonna be in the back, to not do the sirens and all that,
Oh,
like they
that's
always do.
good.
Yeah.
And,
I guess, yeah.
yeah, because, so, as it turns out, they're marching, they're coming in right behind the horses that are,
Clean up.
Oh,
So, and then, but there is some people who are gonna clean behind the horses. But, you know, sure as hell, if those sirens go off, so the police chief was there, and the acting one was there today, and he just said that he had told them that we requested that this one time they not do that. And he said, but I'm not their boss, and they might just decide they wanna do that. And then when somebody else asked, you know, well, what's gonna happen with all the horses and who's gonna clean up? And the police chief just said, well, we'll just let the fire department clean that up. So,
Found out today that there may be as many as 10 horses.
yeah,
And I said, it's Burn Shirt Stables that,
Hatch.
yeah, and they're gonna have them all
Stuff
gussied up,
and,
and so on and so forth, so that's really good, but, you know, we pretty well got it in hand, cause,
Yeah.
police said we can use both sides of 68 to park the military vehicles, to park the classic cars, and there's unknowns, I mean, we don't know how many are gonna show up, but, we'll know that day, and every day we're getting calls about people wanting to be part of it, so, this time next week, we can all look back and say, we did a good job.
Well
So,
done, yeah.
all right, I make a motion to adjourn,
I second.
second.
okay, all right,
Third
thanks,
it.
guys and gals for coming, and by the way, we have color commentary by Miss Laurie Reed, she's gonna
Yeah.
be working with WGAW, and as the parade is coming through, she's gonna be giving color commentary, which will be broadcast locally and on the internet, so,
So watch out, you gotta be nice between now and then,
Yeah.
cause I'm gonna.
That's right, yeah.
The United States Navy has actually gratuitously